Humans have made many advancements throughout the years. We often set goals and hopes in order to create a more competitive field in order to grow as a whole. With things like sports, we often see the topic of swimming come up. Something so simple as floating or swimming can become larger than what it seems, as making history through time can seem so easy in a pool. Many say other sports like ballet or football can seem like the harder sport, but they often have never experienced the extreme training many swimmers go through in order to set world records in seconds. Even with such a hard sport, it's the possibility of a lifetime, something truly inhumane, as we see swimmers like Michael Phelps complete laps in seconds and record world timing, something no human has ever done before. Not everyone, of course, is a Michael Phelps, but with the rise of interest in swim, we see the push of swimming in the younger generations. My name is Maria Mendoza, and I was once a competitive swimmer who prided herself in low times and scores I could never imagine being achieved by someone who doesn't have an athletic bone in her body. By telling you about the highs and lows of swim, I can paint the image of both the glory and pain of what it's like being a swimmer and how much work truly goes into changing history via a pool. There's many things to cover about swim. It may seem like a small sport no one really pays attention to until the Olympics roll around, but to swimmers, it often means hard training and hours of management. We we can begin with the changes that have been made to the sport, such as when women were finally able to compete alongside the men in such a high-end sport, and how different races and ethnicities have been rising and sharing their voice. There's also the growth and importance it has had on many children, as many often end up in teams they will know for years, as the sport itself is year-round. Lastly, the toll it takes on a person to do such a hard sport can be stressful and wreckful to the body, as you often end up spending hours exercising and killing energy in order to better your body. But this often leads to exhaustion and higher expectations, as no one can truly reach so much before they burn out. These three main topics can be the real focus of swimming, as many swimmers can share many of the same experiences of exhaustion and triumph as they swim through the years. I hope by going into detail, I'll be able to break them down enough so that I'll be able to visualize the pool and the swim life through the lives of someone who has may never have been in the water or experienced such struggles. According to the evolution of women swimming from then to now, we see the changes made over 100 years of women swimming as they fought through the challenges many set on them due to the fact that swimming was seen as a men's sport. Firstly, we have to cover why and how women were seen as too scandalous to swim, as they were denied or shamed for wearing swimsuits that did not fit the right length. If we were to factor in that, start quote, they were required to be covered from head to toe in the water and were forced to wear stockings and skirts and shoes into the water while swimming. The clothes were often made of heavy wool, making it harder for women to swim. End quote. This seems extremely unfair, as women's bodies were sexualized even at the time they wanted to reach bigger heights by being able to swim as any person would. Things didn't get much better even when, start quote, women were first allowed to participate in the Olympics in 1912. Men began competing in what we would consider the modern day Olympics in 1896. But American women were not eligible to swim in the Olympics until 1920 in Antwerp, Belgium, due to the long skirt rule of the 1910s, which required women to wear full length skirts and show no leg. End quote. Of course, with protesting and changes being made, women were finally able to compete for the same as anyone else would. But I still can't imagine the frustration and anger when it came to being shut down for a sport someone may be passionate about. I'm grateful to the women who caused an outrage in the news by wearing more revealing swimsuits, as they knew the chances of being taken away by those who shouldn't have had a voice on whatever they could or couldn't swim just because of what they wanted to wear. Now, in the future, many girls and women have broken world records and hope and to inspire the younger generations who do not have to worry about what they want to wear, but rather what changes can you make in order to make the sport better. With the changes of the past, we can also see the many young and talented women who have taken it upon themselves to set world-breaking records in the new 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games. We see people like the 15-year-old Katie Grimes, who made history as one of the youngest swimmers to win the Olympic trials for the 800-meter race, something that takes time and energy to do, as Grimes has been able to make history. We see that Katie is not the only Katie to win such an amazing title, as Katie Ledecky also once competed and won the trial by the age of 15, as well in the 800-meter race. This type of deja vu is incredible as it goes to show how, even when history repeats itself, we see the push and drive women have had throughout the years, as many young girls grow into the Olympics medals and awarding times with the changes they are being able to make. I see the unification that diversity as a means of building onto the memories as many swim teams become a family to one another. Swim is a rigorous sport and it takes up most of your time, but from practices at 6 a.m. to swim meets to 2 hours away, you often find yourself building a closer bond to those around you. The good thing about swim is that no matter your background, oftentimes you will find a spot on the team. With swim having so many races, we often see the need to have many people who are capable of different activities, just as long distance or maybe even sprinters. You can often find yourself useful regardless of what we think. With this, the years go by and we often end up learning more about ourselves and our lives as we end up at the same pool at 6 a.m. all year round for who knows how many years. As the year goes by in swim, it becomes your life as swim is something you can never put a hold on. Your body needs constant training, and constant advancement can be retiring as it often means setting everything aside in order to smell like chlorine every day. Now, sooner or later, you find yourself dried up with pieces of blonde bleach hair as the chlorine is so strong to kill anything. And with your appetite growing and your sleep worsening, it's truly something you have to commit to. I will always enjoy the time I had those I will always enjoy the time I had with those in practice as they become support and the help I will always be thankful for. But we could also see that swim was a rigorous sport that needed to be debated as a lifetime thing. I no longer swim for any team, but I have friends who continue to wake up at 6 a.m. and push forward a change that is needed for today's youth. Many sports can carry a deeper meaning, but I believe swim may always be one of the strongest leading changes in history, as it's being made with superhumans reaching a speed not known before, and with more and more work, I can see that many of those who seek to better themselves often find a better life in a sport like swimming. If anyone ever thinks of joining swim, I could encourage it. It may seem tough, but with enough drive, many find the sport to be life changing and maybe something to even think about. Thank you.